A little girl paid a Mafia boss. Her simple request was a weapon he never saw coming. It would shatter his violent world, force an impossible choice, and ignite a war where the only currency is loyalty. If you're new here, subscribe and comment your location. Now let's begin. Don Morty sat in his usual spot on the patio of La Rosa, the restaurant he owned. It was a quiet Tuesday afternoon. The sun was warm. His bodyguard, Paul, stood by the door. Don Morty was reading a newspaper. He was a tall man with sharp eyes. He wore a simple but expensive suit. He saw the little girl before she got close. She was small, maybe 8 years old. She had blonde hair in messy braids and wore a pink backpack. She was walking right toward him. Paul moved to block her, but Don Morty raised a hand. He was curious. The girl stopped at his table. She looked very serious. She dug into her jeans pocket and pulled out some money. It was a $5 bill and 2 crumpled ones. She put just the $5 on his table. "Mr. Morty," she said. Her voice was quiet but clear. "Yes," he said. He put his paper down. "My name is Lily. I live on Elm Street, in the big gray apartment building. I need your help." Don Morty almost smiled. This was new. People asked him for help all the time, but they were usually grown men, scared and sweating. They asked for money or for him to hurt someone or to make a problem go away. He wondered what this little thing could want. Maybe a bully at school, maybe a lost kitten. $5 is not much for my help, Lily," he said, his voice low. "It's all I have," she said. She looked at her shoes, then back at him. "I saved it from my lunch money." "Okay," he said, leaning back. "What do you need? Someone bothering you?" Lily shook her head. She took a deep breath. "No, Mr. Morty. Can you teach me how to make a real friend? I have a book from the library about it, but it's not working." Don Morty stared at her. He didn't blink. He felt like the air had been sucked out of the patio. He heard Paul shift his weight behind him. He waited for the laugh, for the joke, for her to say something else. But she just stood there, her big eyes looking at him, full of hope and worry. "A friend," he finally said. The word felt strange in his mouth. "Yes," Lily said. She opened her pink backpack and took out a library book. It was called How to Make and Keep Friends. She showed it to him. "It says to smile and say hello. I do that. But then they just walk away. At recess, I sit alone. I thought you know how to make people do things. So maybe you know how to make someone be my friend." Don Morty, the man who had built an empire on fear, the man who men called the ghost because he could make anyone disappear, was completely silent. He felt a strange pain in his chest. It wasn't a heart attack. It was something old and rusty and sad. He hadn't had a real friend since he was a boy himself. He had soldiers. He had allies. He had enemies. He had women who liked his money. But a friend, someone you just talked to, someone you played with. That was a foreign country to him. "Why me?" he asked, his voice softer now. "My mom works late at the diner. She's always tired. And my dad, he's not here anymore. I heard Mr. Jenkins in 4B say you're the most important man in the neighborhood, that you fix problems. This is my problem." Don Morty looked at the $5. It was the smallest payment he had ever taken for the biggest job he had ever been offered. He looked at Lily's hopeful face, and for a reason he did not understand, he nodded. "Okay," he said. "Okay, Lily, I will help you." A huge smile broke across her face. "Really?" "Really, but this is a special job. We need lessons. Friendship lessons. Meet me here on Saturday, at 10 in the morning." "Thank you, Mr. Morty," she said. She almost bounced on her feet. Then she turned and skipped away, her backpack bouncing. Paul came over to the table. "Boss, what was that about?" Don Morty picked up the $5 bill. He smoothed it out. "That, Paul," he said quietly, "was the most dangerous negotiation of my life." On Saturday at exactly 10, Lily was there. She wore a clean yellow dress. Don Morty was there too. He felt foolish. He was in a dark suit, sitting at a patio table, waiting to give a friendship lesson. He had thought about it all week. What did he know about friendship? Nothing good. "Good you're on time," he said. "That's rule 1, be reliable. A friend can count on you." Lily nodded seriously and took out a small notebook. "I'll write that down." Don't write it down, just remember it. He looked around. The park across the street had kids playing. Come on, we're going over there. They walked to the park. Paul followed at a distance, confused but quiet. Don Morty sat on a bench. Lily stood in front of him. What do I do? She asked. You see that girl on the swings, he said, pointing to a girl about Lily's age. Go over there, don't ask to be friends, just go stand near the swings. If she looks at you, you say it's a good day for swinging. Then see what she says. Lily looked terrified. What if she doesn't say anything? Then you swing on the empty swing. You do your own thing, you don't push. Lily took a deep breath and walked to the swing set. Don Morty watched. He felt nervous, like he was watching a big business deal happen. Lily stood near the swings. The other girl looked at her. Lily said something. The other girl said something back. Then, after a minute, Lily sat on the swing next to her. They started swinging together. They started talking. 20 minutes later, Lily came running back, her face glowing. Her name is Jessica. She likes dogs and the color purple. We're going to play at the sandbox next Saturday. Don Morty felt a weird pride. Good, that's good. You didn't try too hard, you just showed up. Is that the lesson? Lily asked. For today, yes, he said. Thank you, Mr. Morty, she said, and she gave him a quick, small hug before running back to Jessica. Don Morty froze. The hug was over in a second, but it left him stunned. No one hugged him, not for real. Paul saw his face and looked away. The lessons continued. Every Saturday, Don Morty found himself clearing his schedule. He told his men he had business. They thought it was a new, secret deal. One Saturday, he taught her chess in the park. Chess is like a conversation, he said. You have to listen to what the other person is doing. A friend listens. Lily learned fast. She beat him in their third game by using a trick he showed her. She laughed, a real, loud laugh. He found himself smiling, a real smile. He started walking her home after their lessons. Her apartment building on Elm Street was old and a little run down. He saw things he never noticed before. The broken front lock, the flickering hallway light, the tough-looking teenagers who hung out by the dumpster. One day, as they walked, a man named Mr. Peterson from the first floor stopped them. He was an old man with a cane. He looked nervous but brave. Excuse me, Mr. Morty, the old man said. Don Morty's face went back to its usual cold look. Yes. I live here. My apartment, there's a leak from upstairs. The landlord, he won't fix it. My ceiling is falling. I was wondering, could you say something to him? The old man was trembling. Don Morty looked at the building. He looked at Lily, who was watching with big eyes. He looked back at the old man. What's your apartment number? 1C. It will be fixed by Monday, Don Morty said. His voice left no room for argument. Oh, thank you, sir, Mr. Peterson said, bowing his head. As they walked away, Lily slipped her hand into his. He let her hold it for a few steps before gently letting go, but the warmth stayed. He called Paul that evening. Find out who owns 123 Elm Street, buy the building, quietly, then fix everything that's broken, everything. Boss, that's not our kind of business, Paul said. It is now, Don Morty said and hung up. Weeks turned into a month. Don Morty was teaching Lily how to throw a baseball when a black car pulled up to the park. A man got out. He was big, with a scar on his neck. His name was Marco. He worked for a rival family, the Volps. Marco walked right up to the bench. Paul moved forward, but Don Morty waved him back. Lily stopped throwing the ball and came to stand beside Morty, sensing danger. Don Morty, Marco said, his voice rough. My boss sends his greetings. He wants to know if you're retiring. He sees you in the park a lot, playing games. Morty's eyes turned to ice. Tell your boss my business is my business. The answer to his question about the warehouse is still no. Marco's eyes flicked to Lily. Cute kid, your granddaughter. In a movement faster than Lily could see, Don Morty was on his feet. He was right in front of Marco, so close their noses almost touched. His voice was a deadly whisper. If you, or anyone from your crew, ever looks at this child again, if you ever even say the word child, I will personally cut out your eyes and feed them to you. Do you understand me? This is not business. This is personal." Marco turned pale. He nodded quickly, got back in his car, and drove away. Morty sat back down. His hands were shaking, but not from fear, from rage. He took a deep breath. Lily was staring at him. "Who was that man, Mr. Morty?" she asked. "He's a bad man," he said simply. "Are you a bad man?" she asked. Her voice was small. He looked at her. He thought about all the things he had done. "Yes, Lily, I have done many, many bad things." She thought about this. "But you're helping me, and you helped Mr. Peterson, and you made the landlord fix the hot water for Mrs. Gable in 3A. He was surprised she knew about that. "That doesn't erase the bad things." "My mom says people can change," Lily said. She picked up the baseball. "Can you teach me the curveball now?" He looked at her, this pure, small person in his violent world. He felt a fierce, terrifying need to protect her, not just from Marco, but from everything, even from the knowledge of what he really was. "Yes," he said, his voice thick. "Let's learn the curveball." That night in his expensive, empty penthouse, Don Morty couldn't sleep. He thought about Lily's question. "Are you a bad man?" He thought about Marco's visit. He had made a mistake. Showing kindness in his world was seen as a weakness, and Lily was now a target. He called his consigliere, James. "James, the Vault family. They're getting pushy about the West Side warehouses." "We heard, boss. What do you want to do?" Morty thought of Lily's laugh. He thought of her holding his hand. "I want to end it, not a war. A removal, clean, quiet. Make it look like an accident for their boss, then take all their territory. I want them gone by the end of the month. No loose ends." There was a pause on the line. James was shocked. Morty was usually more careful, more political. This was a full wipeout. "That's a big move, boss. It will cause waves." "I will make the waves calm," Morty said. "Just do it." He hung up. He was doing the bad thing to protect the good thing. The irony tasted bitter. He was using the darkness to guard a tiny point of light. The next Saturday, Lily was waiting for him, but she wasn't alone. Her mother was with her. Her mother was young, with tired eyes and kind lines on her face. She looked terrified. "Mr. Morty," she said, stepping forward. "I'm Alina, Lily's mom. I need to talk to you." "Mom, it's okay. He's my friend," Lily said. Alina put a hand on Lily's shoulder. "Go play on the swings for a minute, sweetie." Lily looked between them, worried but obeyed. Alina turned back to Morty. Her fear was like a smell coming off her. "Sir, I know who you are. I didn't know at first. Lily just said she was meeting a nice man who taught her things. But then the building got bought. Everything got fixed. The bad kids who used to hang around are gone. People started saying Don Morty was our guardian angel." She laughed a short, scared laugh. "I looked you up. You're no angel." "No," he agreed quietly. "What do you want with my daughter?" Alina's voice broke. "Please, she's all I have. If this is about money or something else, just leave us alone. We have nothing." Don Morty felt her words like physical blows. He understood. In her world, a man like him only brought pain. How could he explain? He barely understood it himself. "I want nothing from you," he said, choosing his words with more care than he used in any business deal. "Lily paid me $5 to help her make a friend. She is a very good student." Alina stared at him. She was looking for the lie. "That's it. You, a mafia boss, spend your Saturdays in the park, teaching my daughter to make friends." "Yes." "Why?" He was silent for a long time. He looked over at Lily, who was watching them from the swings. "Because," he said finally, "no one has ever asked me for something so simple, so honest. She sees me as a person who can fix a problem, not as a monster. I am trying to be that person." Tears filled Alina's eyes, not just from fear now, but from confusion. "This is dangerous for her, your world." "I know," he said, his voice fierce. "And I am dealing with that. Her safety is my priority. You have my word. It is the only true thing I have to give." Alina searched his face. She saw the hardness, the history of violence. But she also saw something else, something raw and new, a sincerity that shocked her. "One wrong move," she whispered. One hint of danger to her and we disappear. Do you understand? He nodded. I understand. She called Lily over. Lily ran to her mom's side. Can Mr. Morty still teach me? Lily asked, her eyes worried. Elena looked at her daughter's hopeful face. She looked at the fearsome man who stood before her. She took a deep breath. Yes, she said, for now. The war with the Volp family happened quickly and quietly. A car accident here, a gas leak explosion there. Their operations collapsed. Don Morty's men moved in and took over. The city's underworld was shocked by the sudden, brutal efficiency. Morty was sending a message, I am not weak, do not test me. At the same time, 123 Elm Street got a new roof, a security system, and a fresh coat of paint. A small playground appeared in the lot next to it. Morty didn't visit it in person again. It was safer that way. But he heard reports. He knew Lily was playing with Jessica every day. He knew she had joined a soccer team. One afternoon, James came to see him at La Rosa. The Volp matter is settled, boss, but there are whispers. What whispers? People are saying you've gone soft. They see the apartment building. They know you're in the park. They think you have a weakness. Morty's face was stone. Let them think what they want. Their mistake will be their last. James hesitated. There's one more thing. A new player from out of town, young, ambitious. He's asking questions about Elm Street. His name is Daniel Keene. A chill went down Morty's spine. A new, hungry wolf smelled a chance. Find out everything about him, now. The next Saturday, Morty and Lily were finishing a chess game. She was getting very good. The park was busy. Checkmate, Lily said, moving her queen. Morty looked at the board and laughed, a real deep laugh. You got me, again. Lily beamed, then her face grew serious. Mr. Morty, my friend Jessica is having a birthday party next weekend, at the roller rink. She said I could bring a guest. She looked down at her hands. My mom has to work. Would you come with me? Don Morty's heart stopped. A child's birthday party, at a roller rink. It was the most ridiculous, dangerous, wonderful thing he had ever been asked. He imagined his men seeing him there. He imagined Daniel Keene finding out. It would be a disaster. He opened his mouth to say no, to make an excuse. But he saw the hope in her eyes. The same hope she had when she first gave him $5. What day? He asked. Saturday, 2:00. He nodded. I will be there. Lily jumped up and hugged him. This time, he hugged her back just for a second. When he got back to his car, Paul was grim. Boss, we have a problem. Daniel Keene. He's been seen talking to some of our guys on the docks, asking about your schedule, asking about the girl. Morty's world went cold and clear. This was it. The danger had a name. Cancel all my meetings for next Saturday afternoon, he said. Boss, the meeting with the commissioner. Cancel it, Morty said, his voice like steel. I have a prior engagement. The day of the party arrived. Don Morty wore simple, dark clothes. He looked like a serious grandfather, not a mafia boss. He had 2 cars full of men follow him at a distance. Paul was with him, looking very out of place in his suit. The roller rink was loud and bright. Kids were screaming, music was blaring. Lily saw him at the entrance and ran over, wearing a party hat. You came. I said I would, he said. He felt 100 eyes on him. Other parents wondering who he was. His own men posted at the exits, tense and watching. He bought a ticket and rented skates. He hadn't skated in 30 years. It was a disaster. He held onto the wall, moving slowly. Lily skated circles around him, laughing. Jessica came over and said hello. He nodded at her, feeling clumsy and old. But he also felt something else. A strange, simple joy. He watched Lily laugh with her friends. She was happy. She had friends. His mission was accomplished. Then he saw him, across the rink near the snack bar, a lean man in a leather jacket. Daniel Keene. He was alone, drinking a soda, watching Lily. A cold fury, colder than anything he had ever felt, rose in Don Morty. This man had come here, to this place of noise and light and children's laughter. He had brought the darkness into this room. Morty caught Paul's eye from across the rink. He gave a small, sharp nod toward Daniel. Paul understood. He spoke into his wrist, and two of their men started moving through the crowd toward the snack bar. Daniel Keene saw them coming. He smiled, a nasty, thin smile. He looked right at Morty, raised his soda cup in a mock toast, and then melted back into the crowd, heading for the exit. Morty's blood was roaring in his ears. The party was over. The game was over. The real world had crashed in. He skated carefully to the side and took off his skates. Lily skated up, her face falling. "Are you leaving?" "I have to go, Lily. Business." "Did you have fun?" she asked. He looked at her sweet, worried face, and the lie came easily. "Yes, I had more fun than you can imagine. Be good for your mom." He turned and walked out, his ordinary clothes hiding the storm inside. As soon as he was outside, his face changed. The kindness was gone. The dawn was back. Paul was at the car. "He got away, lost him in the parking lot. He's a ghost." "No one is a ghost," Morty snarled. "Find him. I don't care what it costs. I want Daniel Keene found before the sun sets, and I want everyone he has ever spoken to brought in. This ends tonight." He got in the car. He looked back at the bright, noisy roller rink. He had tried to live in two worlds, but he could only truly live in one. And to protect the light, he had to drown in the dark. He had to finish this, for good. The car ride back to La Rosa was silent and tense. Don Morty stared out the window, but he didn't see the city. He saw Daniel Keene's mocking smile in the roller rink. He saw Lily's worried face asking if he'd had fun. The two images clashed in his mind, a war he could no longer ignore. "Get Alina and Lily," he said to Paul, his voice flat and cold. "Bring them to the safe house on Pier 12. Now, use the gentle crew. If Lily gets scared, you answer to me." Paul nodded and made the call. "Done, boss. They'll be picked up from the party in 5. Morty walked into the back room of La Rosa. His men were already gathering. James, his consigliere, David and Mark, his top enforcers, a half-dozen others whose loyalty was bought with money and fear. The air smelled of cigar smoke and danger. "Daniel Keene," Morty said, not sitting down. "He's a problem." He looked at the girl. "He came to a child's party to send me a message. That means he thinks he's untouchable. We will show him he is wrong." James cleared his throat. "Boss, he's new, but he's connected, backed by money from the West Coast. He's been poaching our drivers, offering them double. He wants the ports." "He can't have them," Morty said. "He made it personal, so we make it personal. I don't want him arrested. I don't want him scared. I want him gone. And I want everyone who took his money to disappear with him." David, a mountain of a man, cracked his knuckles. "We know where he drinks, the Blue Note Club. He's there every night with 2 bodyguards." "Then we go tonight," Morty said. "But not at the club, too public. We take him when he's moving. I want a wire on his car. I want his phone tapped. I want to know if he orders a pizza. Move." The room erupted into action. Men left to make calls, to get guns, to start cars. This was the machine Don Morty had built, and it worked with brutal efficiency. An hour later, Paul got a call. He listened, then turned to Morty. "The family is secure at the pier. The mother is upset. The girl asked if you were coming." A sharp pain hit Morty's chest. "Tell them I will come when it is safe. Make sure they have food, books for Lily, a television, whatever they need." He poured himself a drink but didn't drink it. He was waiting. The information started flowing in. "He's leaving his apartment," Mark said, looking at a laptop. "Got the tracker on his car active. He's heading not to the Blue Note. He's going east, toward the waterfront." Morty stood up. "The waterfront is our place. Is he coming to us?" "Maybe he's got a meeting set up with one of our guys who flipped," James said, worried. "Then we will be there to greet him," Morty said, putting on his coat. "Get 5 cars. We're going." The convoy moved through the city like a dark snake. Morty sat in the middle car, his face like stone. They headed to the old industrial docks, a place of shadows and echoing sounds. His phone buzzed. It was a text from a blocked number. "You can't guard her forever, old man. Everyone has a price, even little girls." The message was followed by a photo. It was taken today at the roller rink. A close-up of Lily laughing, her party hat crooked. Rage, hot and pure, flooded Morty's veins. Keen hadn't just been sending a message. He'd been planning. "He's here to make a deal for them," Morty said aloud, his voice deadly quiet. "He thinks he can trade their safety for my ports. He's meeting a traitor right now." Paul swore. "The safe house is only a mile from here." "Change of plan," Morty said. "We don't take him alive. We find him and we end him. Now, tell the men, weapons hot, no witnesses." The cars slid to a stop in a dark lot near Warehouse 7. The moon was covered by clouds. It was quiet, only the sound of water lapping against the piers. Then headlights. A single car approached from the opposite direction. It was Daniel Keen's black sedan. It stopped 50 yards away. Keen got out alone. He leaned against his car, lighting a cigarette. The glow lit up his smug face. Morty got out of his car. His men spread out behind him, hidden in the darkness. He walked forward alone into the open space between them. "Don Morty," Keen called out, his voice echoing. "I knew you'd come. You're predictable when someone touches your soft spot." "You made a mistake," Morty said, stopping 20 feet away. "The mistake was you showing you cared," Keen said, blowing out smoke. "It's a weakness. So here's the deal. You give me control of the Southside ports. You step back. And the girl and her mom go on living their happy, boring lives. You get to keep your little hobby." Morty didn't move. "And if I say no?" Keen dropped his cigarette and crushed it. "Then the men I have positioned near that rusty safe house right now get a call. And your little friendship project ends very messily." Morty had expected this. He had hoped it wasn't true, but he had expected it. He gave a small, almost invisible nod. From the rooftop of Warehouse 7, a single, quiet thwip sound broke the night. Daniel Keen's head jerked. A small, dark hole appeared in the center of his forehead. The smug look was frozen there. He crumpled to the ground like a sack of flour. At the same moment, Morty's phone rang. It was David. "Boss, we found the 3 guys lurking by the pier safe house. They're handled. The family never heard a thing." "Good," Morty said, looking down at Keen's body. "Clean this up, make it disappear, the car too." He walked back to his own car, the job done. But it didn't feel like a victory. It felt like a sentence. He had just killed a man to protect a child. He was the monster doing monstrous things so the innocent could sleep. There was no escaping what he was. "Take me to the pier," he told Paul. The safe house was a small, clean apartment above a closed fish market. It smelled of salt and old wood. Paul knocked on the door in a special pattern, and it opened. Alina was inside, her face pale, holding Lily close on a couch. When she saw Morty, she stood up, her body tense. Lily squirmed free and ran to him. "Mr. Morty, are you okay? Mom said we had to play a hiding game." He knelt down, which made his suit pants tight. He looked into her eyes. "The game is over, Lily. You were very brave. You can go home soon." "Did you fix the problem?" she asked, using the words he always used. He paused. "Yes, the problem is fixed." Alina came closer. She saw the look in his eyes, the tiredness, the shadows that weren't from the poor light. "How bad was it?" she whispered. "Bad enough that it won't happen again," he said, standing up. He looked at Alina. "But this is my life. This is what happens around me. You were right. It's dangerous." Lily, sensing the mood, hugged his leg. "I'm glad you're safe." He put a hand on her head, his heart breaking. He had to do the hardest thing now, the right thing. "Paul will take you home," he said, his voice rough. "The building is safe. There will be new security, good men watching, but you won't see me again." Lily's face crumpled. "What? Why?" Alina understood. Her eyes filled with tears, but she nodded. It was the only way. "Because my lessons are finished," Morty said, forcing the words out. "You know how to make a friend. You have Jessica. You have your soccer team. You don't need my lessons anymore." "But you're my friend," Lily cried, tears spilling over. The word hit him harder than any bullet. He swallowed hard. "And I always will be, but sometimes friends have to say goodbye to keep each other safe. This is me, keeping you safe. He couldn't bear it any longer. He looked at Alina. I will make sure you never want for anything. School, college, a new life somewhere if you want it. It's done. You won't see me, but you will know I kept my word. He turned and walked to the door. Lily tried to follow, but Alina held her gently. Goodbye, Lily, he said, not looking back. He couldn't look back. Goodbye, Mr. Morty, she sobbed. He walked out the door, down the stairs, and into the cold night. Paul followed him. Boss. Drive, Morty said. They drove in silence back to La Rosa. The restaurant was dark and empty. He went to his office, poured a large glass of whiskey, and drank it all in one go. He felt empty. He had saved her by removing himself from her life. It was the final, cruel price of her innocent request. Weeks passed. The underworld settled. The story was that Daniel Keene had tried to move in on Morty's territory and had simply vanished. Respect for the Dawn was higher than ever. No one dared whisper about weakness anymore. Morty went back to his old life. Meetings, money, intimidation. It felt emptier than before. He felt like a ghost in his own life. He never went to the park on Saturdays, but sometimes from inside his car with tinted windows, he would have Paul drive slowly past Elm Street. He'd see Lily playing jump rope with Jessica. He saw her with a new backpack for school. He saw Alina smiling, talking with other mothers. They looked normal. They looked safe. One Saturday, Paul cleared his throat from the driver's seat. Boss, it's October 12th. Morty looked at him. So? It's her birthday. She's 9 today. Morty hadn't forgotten. He had a small, wrapped present on his desk at home, a beautiful leather-bound journal. He didn't know what to do with it. Drive to the building, he said. They parked a block away. He saw kids and parents going into the building's small community room. There were balloons, a birthday party. Wait here, he told Paul. He got out, holding the small gift. He walked to the building's new, secure front door. He didn't go in. He saw Mr. Peterson, the old man from 1C, sitting on a bench outside, enjoying the sun. Mr. Peterson, Morty said. The old man looked up, startled, then nodded with deep respect. Don Morty. Give this to Lily, for her birthday. Don't say who it's from. Just say it's from a friend who remembers her lessons. He handed the gift to the old man, then turned to leave. Sir, Mr. Peterson called softly. Morty paused. She talks about you, you know, not by name. She calls you her Saturday friend. She says you taught her the best things. Morty didn't trust himself to speak. He just nodded and walked back to the car. As the car pulled away, he finally let himself look. Through the window of the community room, he saw Lily. She was wearing a paper crown. She was laughing. She was surrounded by friends. She had paid $5 for a friend. And in the end, she had turned the most feared man in the city into her silent guardian. He had given her the safety to grow up happy, and she had given him a fleeting glimpse of the man he might have been. It wasn't a happy ending, but it was the only ending they could have. He leaned back in the seat, the city moving past his window, a king in a castle of shadows, guarding a single bright light he could never touch again. Wow, what a story. Did Morty do the right thing? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and tell us where in the world you're watching from. If this twist grabbed you, hit subscribe for more stories where the toughest choices come from the softest hearts.